Welcome to my Stop Fighting with Your Son podcast. If this is your first time here, I recorded 4 episodes especially for you to help you eliminate the fights right away and start connecting with your boy as soon as possible. Go to episodes 54 through 59. I have 4 boys of my own, and I know better than anyone how much you want to have a good relationship with your boy and all the things that can come in your way. If you are a mom of boys, I am the coach for you. Let's go. Hey guys, how's it going? The week that you're listening this at, I am actually in Ontario with my family, and I am so excited. I'm not there yet, but we're so excited to spend some time with my brother's kids, which are my kids' cousins. It has been 3 years since we saw them because of COVID. So the kids are that much older, and some of the kids remember the cousins. So we are all the adults are so excited for the cousins to get together and for all of us to spend a week together on a boat, on the lake. We'll have some bonfires. It'll be super crazy with 7 boys, but we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to make so many memories. And I already know my oldest son and my mom are planning some challenges. And my oldest told me, he said, "Oh, get ready to be fit." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, we'll have some challenges for you." And I said, "What? They're not for the kids?" He said, "No, it's there for everyone." I said, "Well, I hope my mom is doing them too, because she's creating them." So if she is willing to create the challenges, she better be ready to do them too. So we'll see. Okay, I'll report back after. But for now, I want to talk to you about the brain dump. And this is a tool that I use all the time daily. And this is the tool that is so important for your brain mental health, for your cleaning out your brain, for creating sanity, for feeling calm, for feeling relaxed, for feeling in control. This is just one of the tools. I'll share with you the other tools next week. But for now, this brain dump is basically the same thing that you do with your teeth. You brush your teeth every day, right? So you get rid of all the leftover food, all the bacteria, all the grossness out of your teeth, right? And you spend 2 minutes doing it every day, right? Maybe twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. I know I like to brush my teeth after breakfast or lunch sometimes. It feels really good to have a clean mouth. And why do we do that, right? Because we know that our teeth feel good when they're clean, and also they will rot, right? They will have cavities, we'll have problems, we'll have to pay more, it will hurt, right? So we know that brushing our teeth directly impacts how good they feel, how healthy they are, right? But think about, what do we do with our brain that cleans it out in the same way, that takes care of our mental health? Well, most of us don't do anything about that, right? Because we are just not taught, we don't have a habit of doing that. And what the equivalent of brushing teeth for your brain is doing the brain dump. And what the brain dump is your brain is filled with thoughts. Thoughts are sentences in your brain that you think, okay? There are words that come up to become a sentence, and those are your thoughts. So when we do not have a brain dump, we have a million thoughts in our brain spinning all the time. Sometimes it's only one thought that keeps repeating. Sometimes it's hundreds of thoughts all at the same time. Sometimes you feel like you have so many thoughts in your brain you can't think straight, right? Because there's so many of them. So if we don't clean them up, then those thoughts, the thoughts that stink, right? The thoughts that are like bacteria, the leftover food, the thoughts that are left over from something, that they don't get to be thrown out, they don't get to be cleaned out, then all of the thoughts create feelings for us. So if we don't clean them out, then we're carrying around all of these feelings in our body with us, and some of them don't feel good, right? Some of them feel good, some of them don't feel good, and all of them feel very different, right? That's where comes up the overwhelm, the anxiety, the sadness, the depression, the dread, right? All of these different excitement, all of these different shades of feelings are there. So, what I want to offer to you is that our brain is not meant to store information. It is meant to process information. It's a processing device. Just like our teeth are meant to process food, they're not meant to store food. The same with our brain. We're meant to process information. We're not meant to store it, right? But how do we clean out our brains so we don't store the information? Well, we need to dump all of that out. We need to clean it out. How do we do that? We need a few things. We need your brain. We need you to be willing. We need a writing device and a writing surface. So that could be your phone, right? You can write it in an email to yourself. You can write it on the notes. You can post it somewhere publicly if you want to. That's up to you. You can have a pen and paper, right? And what you will do to do the brain dump is simply write down all the thoughts that come up in your brain as they are. They do not have they don't have to make any sense. They don't have to be logical. They don't have to be in order. They can be a list of to-do things, which often for me, when I do the brain dump, for me is a lot of to-do items. I dump. They're all to-do. And then I come up to the other things that are more of thoughts, like, oh, I wonder what today will be like. Oh, I'm worried about the trip. Or I wonder how my clients are doing, right? Then I come up to other things other than to-do lists. But often I have to start with to-do because that's what's spinning in my head. What do I have to do today, right? So it can be anything. It could be something from the past, from 20 years ago. It could be something about your son's future that's not related to today at all. It could be something about all the sports you have to book for your kids. It could be the grocery list. It could be like a formal shorts you have to buy for your boys. Anything. So what it is that you will do, you'll write it all down. You dump it all down. Dump it on paper. Dump it on your phone. And keep going and ask yourself, what else? And you will need a minimum 2 minutes. Just think of it as brushing your teeth, right? What you're doing is you're cleaning your brain. And your brain is a very important part of your life because your brain is what generates your thoughts about your life. And why is this important? Because all of your thoughts are what create all of your feelings, and your feelings are what will drive all of your actions in your life. And your actions are what will create your results in your life, right? For example, with your son, if you are feeling loving towards your son, if you're thinking like, I love my son, you're feeling loving, from that feeling of love, you will show up to your son in a loving way. You will think about him, you will ask him questions, you will support him, right? From those actions, you are creating a result of a good relationship for yourself with your son, right? It all starts from your thought, and your thought starts in your brain, right? So cleaning out your brain, dumping everything out is the first step to you creating mental health and creating order in your life, okay? And in the next episode, I will talk about what you do with the brain dump after you've dumped it all out. But the first step is you dump it all out, and the feeling that you will have, you can have many different feelings. You can be relieved. You'll be like, oh, I've been carrying this around with me for so long. It's so good to get it out of my head. And sometimes you feel like that when you vent to someone, right? You can have that type of relief because it's a similar process. You dump it out of your brain, right? But I will say to you, you don't need anyone else to dump this out on, right? And in fact, it can feel a lot more free to dump this onto paper because there's no judgment on paper, right? You know, your girlfriend or your mom or whoever, your husband, they might have opinions about what you dump out, but paper doesn't, right? This is a judgment-free zone. This is simply for you to dump it all out and leave it there. And so there's a higher privacy here on paper, and no one will ever have to see it. You don't even need to read it. You can just throw it out if you want to. Or you can do it on the phone and delete the note after, right? But by dumping it out, you have cleaned up your brain and you have given your brain peace of mind that, hey, I got all this information. You don't need to keep carrying it around with you, okay? So this is what you will do. And sometimes you might be terrified because if you dump all these sentences out on paper, you might be horrified. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm thinking all these things. And there might be a big load of worry about the future in there. So you might not want to look at those thoughts because they bring up all the worry in you, right? And so in the next episode, I will guide you through what you can do with that and what is the tool for you to deal with those thoughts, the ones that you don't want to look at, okay? But for now, the daily practice that I highly recommend for anyone who wants to have peace and control in their life is doing that daily brushing the teeth, but also take care of your mental health by brushing your brain, right? Dump it all out. Don't keep carrying it with you. And start doing that. See what comes up for you. If you have any any reactions to that, you can always send me an email and tell me, okay, this is how it feels. Am I doing it right? And do that. Take all the garbage out of your brain and leave it on paper, okay? Because you will also see some good thoughts that are in there too, right? So you don't have to dump them. Keep them for sure in your brain. And you can put them back in your brain. But at least now you've taken a look at them and saw, oh, okay, these ones for sure I want to keep. These ones, no thank you, right? So this is what I do daily now all the time this is just something that I do daily, but even on hourly basis. Sometimes when my brain says you need to do something, right away I go to my phone and I have a list app and I add it to my list because I don't want to have to keep carrying that around with me, something that I have to do, either something that is a to-do list, something to buy list, or even something for me to research or anything that comes up, I add it to my list. And that feels freeing. That feels like I've taken the load off. I know that it's recorded, so I don't have to worry about forgetting it. And this is something that we have to do when we get older, right? Because we might forget it. So it's such a useful tool. I hope you utilize it. It has helped me tremendously, and I am free to be present with my kids, with myself when I do that. All right, guys? So again, remember to do the brain dump, just like you brush your teeth. And remember, if you skip a day or two or a week, don't worry about it. Just like with the teeth, if you skipped a day, you would not think, oh my gosh, I skipped a day of brushing teeth. I'm never going to brush them again. No, you would think, oh no, I didn't brush my teeth. I'm going to go brush them now, right? Same thing here. If you think, oh gosh, I didn't do this for my vacation or for a weekend, oh, I'm just going to do it now, right? Because it feels good. It cleans up my brain. And this is just what I do, right? So pick up where you left off. You don't have to worry if you skip today. And this will accumulate in such a good stability of your mental health. This will accumulate in your mental health, just like with your teeth, right? If you keep them clean, you will not have cavities. If you keep them clean, your gums will not recede. If you keep them clean, you They will process food for you really well. They will look white. They will look good, feel good. Same for your brain, right? If you keep doing it regularly, what will happen is that you will become the boss of your brain. You will become the boss of your thoughts. You will be in charge of how you feel. You will be in charge of how you feel about your son, about your kids, about your husband. You will be in charge of the results in your life that you have. And you'll be able to change that if you like, because you have been practicing this daily. And stay tuned for next week. I will explain to you what it is that we do with one sentence. Once you do the brain dump, I will walk you through what it is that I do with the one sentence and how I treat it, whether I think, oh, it's a weed, and I get rid of it, or if I think, oh, this is something useful, and I'll keep it, okay? For now, have a great week, have a good summer, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you need any help with anything, you can always find me on my website, www.coachingnatalia.com. Sign up for a free session or send me an email if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, come chat with me. The first session is free. I'll be happy to meet you and answer your questions. And please, please, please believe that you can have a good relationship with your son, because all of your relationships are generated in your brain with your thoughts. So if you want a good relationship with your son, you can achieve that by working on your thoughts about him. And if you're stuck with that work, I am here to help you, because this is what I do, and I help you with your thoughts about your son. And I point out the ones that don't serve you, and I help you wiggle them around and basically get rid of the thoughts that don't serve you. And I help you create the feeling of a good relationship with your son by working on your thoughts. And you don't have to change your son. And your son will thank you later for doing this work, because he will be receiving your love and connection on the other end after you've done this work, right? So come do this work. You can absolutely have a good relationship with your son, no matter what the circumstances are of your relationship. Even, I'm sorry to say, even if your son is no longer with us, you can still have a good relationship. You can still have peace around your relationship with him. And that is available to you. You can get rid of all the guilt that you have about him. You can make peace with what is, with what was. That is available to you. And you don't have to keep struggling within this area of your life. All right, guys? This is available for you. If it's possible for me, it is possible for you. All you have to do is just believe 1%, right? Question it. Maybe it is possible. Because once once you do believe it's possible, then the rest will be a non-brainer, like a non-brainer. You will just do the work to get there, and you will get that for yourself. All right? Have a good week. Bye.